It's a beautiful days in the neighborhood. Well, how art thou?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm having a blast. I'm actually thinking of going into some waterfalls later.
Wow, good for you. That sounds great.
Yeah, this is a special area, and so Karen thought, why not? And I'm like, yeah, maybe, why not? So, how art thou? Besides
Uh,
good.
no, I'm okay. To be honest with you, first of all, I say, I guess in the morning when I got up, I thought it's Monday, but I've been just doing papers,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working on a third chakra. I posted first and second. I finished them this
Oh,
last
I
week.
only saw this synchronicity one.
Okay, you're talking DVD, but I'm talking
No, wasn't it a paper, the synchronicity
video.
one? Or that was
No.
a video? Oh,
No,
okay.
no, no. You must have been on the channel, not on the WordPress or on the Facebook. One of them, I think you made a comment or did something. It's the first chakra. But anyway, I did the second chakra, and
Neat.
then I've done the third chakra, but I just want to take a look at it a little bit more, and especially the abstract and all that stuff. And so then I was, I've been there's been 3, 4 different things that I've done about 8 pages on that, 6 pages on that. It's just that when it just flows, I have to just write them when they're there, the
Yeah,
inspiration's there, so.
yeah.
And then they get finished just after, because I try to keep the papers, but no no longer than 15 pages because it gets too much for people to read. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And like your
well,
fingers aren't tired.
yeah, and the other thing is that, I mean, there is, I congest things that every point is a bullet, you know. So I don't go on and
Do you
on and
ever
on
go back
ramble.
and edit it at all?
Absolutely, I do. I just wanted to actually let people know that because right now, actually, this morning, I did the third chakra, and then a couple of other things I've been writing, and then I went back to the one in consciousness, and I'm editing that. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And sometimes the editing is extensive. You
Right.
know, it is just, it's just I don't like the way I said something, or I want to add, I want to add. No, it's just that, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
It
do.
is, it is, it is. You find a better way of explaining something rather than just throw in words and move on. And I think since I wrote a lot of papers in the past, and I'm getting more and more into the fundamentals, trying to help the next person, and kind of learn from the
Well, like keep it
first
simple,
person.
don't confuse them kind of thing.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's not done by any stretch of imagination. Actually, it's very, very. Sometimes it gets it very congested, but it brings different things into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see, I noticed I didn't have an abstract for the paper on consciousness
What do you
fundamentals.
mean?
You know how papers I put an abstract in the front, which is basically the summary.
Okay, well, yeah, I do
Yeah,
now that you said summary, but I didn't realize it was called an S.
abstract,
Yeah.
abstract. Yeah, abstract means basically just if you had to really, really squeeze everything down
Mm-hmm.
to that 2, 3 paragraph, whatever it is. What? How would you say that? Basically describes everything you did.
You become Confucius.
Yeah. Well, the details you got to go through them, but you know what I'm
Right.
saying. The
Yes, I
cru-
do.
the crux of the thing is, in fact, what the way I write abstracts is that if you read the whole thing and you completely understand the paper and all the stuff, when you go to the abstract and read it, you say, "Voila,
Mm.
that's it." It's just like it's the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's congealed. It's congealed to the it's like a cream getting out of
Exactly right. Mm-hmm.
from
Tincture, yeah, extracting the oils. Ooh,
it's
what's its essence? Uh-huh. And then where does it go from there?
that well that's the that's the high calorie stuff,
Oh,
So
we need calories. I've
well,
tried to live that way to follow other people's idea of what it's supposed to be, and it just has never worked for me.
no, Mona, don't think about it following somebody else's idea. Actually, I agree with you on that fashion because I don't read other people. Everything that comes is from me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I've done a lot of reading in the past. I mean, I've done probably hundreds and hundreds of channels and but I've studied metaphysics on my own, and then when it comes to quantum physics, plasma physics, the sciences stuff, of course I've done that too. But see, the thing is that but sometimes you have to be very, 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 very selective in who you read, because people can just totally waste your time, because they regurgitate stuff and they don't even make sense, and they don't even,
Well,
they're
I
they're
like the ancient books. Those are the ones I've always read, is the ones that were timed, you know.
yes, yes. If they said a sentence, they said it in such a way that you could put it on a bulletin. You know what I'm saying? It would become a bullet, kind of something. You know.
All right. Well, you just made it for the first break, and so we'll be back. And I want to hear about your synchronicities. Yeah, we might return as long as I don't have my computer fall over. This is so funny. First time it's ever happened. Anyway, welcome back to freedomslips.com Revolution Radio. Oh, and it's Mohsen Monday. Better late than never. And please, people, go to the homepage because there's all kinds of things. Because we've got planets coming in, huh? We've got Jade Hum. We've got so many things going on. Just get prepared for about anything. Make yourself feel comfortable, secure, because nothing outside is going to do it. Only you can. All right, Mohsen, synchronicity.
Yes, ma'am. No, I just wanted to let you know that Synchronicity was the name of a show
Hmm.
that they, I was a guest on that, and I had like a 2-hour show with them, and
That's what I
yeah,
must have posted then. Right, because I go to your YouTube and post your YouTubes.
right, right, and then what happened was this that it was actually it was on CCN, the place that I left, that
Well, you redid
conscious.
them, right?
Yeah, I'm done with them. I
Mm-hmm.
totally trying to stiff people, but anyway, but what happened was this: it is actually still exists, elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but I got a high definition version of it from the main people who all left. Actually, there was Dr. Jeremy Ayers, there was India. Indy, and there were Cami. There were a bunch of people that they all left because they had also problems with the CCN. Anyway, but I got the thing from them, and it is high definition, so I'll put it up. So it's actually it was a couple of months ago, a few months ago, 3-4 months ago again. But anyway, I just put it just in case that people who go on my channel they might have an interest to watch it. It was actually pretty interesting. It was actually my first interview with them and
Cool.
CCN, which led into having my program later. But it was all about consciousness, mechanics of consciousness, how do we come to life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And about light, about I talked about all kinds of stuff. I remember, I haven't listened to it, but I remember talking about basically how the mechanics of consciousness works. And then, it comes through light. Then I talk about light, then how it's disseminated on us. You know what I'm saying? Disseminated. Okay.
Yeah,
And
because decimated, I think, means to be separated, taken apart.
yeah, it's dissemination. Dissemination, that means to impart or to propagate or to,
Oh, that's a good word. I like
yeah.
that word.
So
I'm gonna
anyway,
write that down.
yeah, but when you write a bunch of stuff, you keep thinking about all kinds of words, and you can get saturated with words.
Well, I have a
That's-
bunch of notes that I wrote between 2010 and 2013. So I get your drift about going back, because when I've tried to read them on air, it's like, you wrote that with her? Where's your head at? And I mean, that's okay, but I've let life flow, you know?
yeah,
And it's nice that you have the remnants of the time and the want to recalibrate things, because that's what we're here to do.
yeah. Well, it's actually sometimes just a matter of, it's kind of gets a tongue twister. You know what I'm saying? And you can have a problem actually even pronouncing your own name. Your first name or your last name. That's happened to me, and you say,
Well,
"Oh
with
my
all
God."
this tech stuff, Mohsen, it's almost hard to even put a signature down sometimes. What? What am I supposed? Oh, that's right.
Right.
Because I don't do internet banking and all that, but most do. So if I only needed to sign my name, it would be on a check, and it's not always been easy, and it's very far and in between, which I don't like either. But it's like, oh my gosh, and we're in different training now, Mohsen. And even to be in the right conscious set to see the synchronicity of our life's occurrences, because isn't that part of the fun? Everything's a little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, yeah, it is. But I have gone through tremendous, you know, uh,
Alterations.
no, I've gone through tremendous, energetics changes. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? That's
Oh, yeah.
extreme, like intellectual intensity, and then intense spiritual, and then marrying the both of them, and
But
vibrational
isn't that letting go
intensity.
of the programming that
Yeah,
allow our DNA to harmonically get with the essence that's happening?
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh,
Uh,
well, cool.
well, so it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Sometimes it's just
I'm
like
on so many
it.
levels. I've been called a jumper. It's so funny. I didn't even realize what it was until
No,
they
that was
said that.
that's exactly what I was going to get at, because there's been times that I've been up 22 hours, writing or reading, and there's been times that I've been extremely intense, and I have to finish this. I have to. You've seen that aspect of me
Oh
probably.
yeah, the migraines. Yuck.
Oh yeah, and I've had the migraines and I've all that stuff.
But
But I
not
tell you
any
what,
longer, right? Have you
no, no,
released
no, I don't
those?
have. I have absolutely no
I'm
migraines.
so happy for you.
Pretty much, I would say, and
Way
if it,
cool.
yeah, sometimes you get tired and you don't know what's going on. I'm diabetic also,
Oh well,
so
that
if,
makes some sense. Half a cup
yeah,
of kidney beans a day will balance your blood sugar. I've been
yeah,
an
your sugar,
herbalist over 30 some years, so
mm, your sugar can go way up or go down. So that kind of you feel things in your head, because your whole circulatory system is going to change.
but like you said, it's also a state of mind because each one of our facilities are able to be used. You just have to want to.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is just, that basically you were quite right. I mean, we have to, the best advice that I can give to people, whether they've been attuned for many, many years, 30, 40 years, or they've just started or whatever, because I've been through the intensities of both science and also spirituality. I
Hmm.
did put myself through intense spirituality also. So, but the thing is that, all the subject of ascension, for example, forget it. Forget it. I mean, I even called my, program the, ascension, dawn of ascension, only to just say everything that people are concerned with nowadays, basically. I could have called it new age spirituality. I didn't want to call it that. But basically, what it is just that, there are people who are so worried about clearing, cleansing, don't chakra activation. I get all kinds of questions, on my, what is it, Facebook or whatever. And see, the thing is that no, you have to understand how things operate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Understand. I mean, you don't have to be a scientist, but you have to understand the basics of macrocosmos mechanics and physics,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly microcosmos. Regarding your aura and chakra and how that relates to light and energy and
Mm-hmm.
plasma and whether it's electrocrystalline or whether it is electromagnetic. When the energy gets inside you, become electromagnetic. When it's in ethereal, they're crystalline. But anyway, understand all this, and that's what I'm trying to. That's why when I'm rewriting this stuff,
Right,
I'm,
but the
I'm
one part would be the material and the etherical. Do you think they're going to connect?
oh, they're definitely connected. Absolutely.
Well, I know they're connected. I mean, I get that kind of thing, but I'm wondering how the people's minds and bodies, and because I've been through a lot of transitions physically when the ascension at that moment is occurring, because we're all growing and that's it. And we're trying to clear the carbon of this third dimensional to become more etherical in the crystalline form. But we've also had our telomeres messed up with. So people are in different levels of consciousness, and we have to know that it's all okay. There are no expectations. It's all a harmonic in your being, like you said, the chakras that creates the essence of what we're becoming.
And exactly so. The last sentence you said, I think, was the most important thing that, personally, I would
What are you
emphasize to
rubbing up
people.
against, Mohsen?
I'm not. I'm not at all. Why? Is it making a noise or
Oh,
something?
yeah, like you're putting sandpaper over your mic.
Um. All right. Is it okay? Let me see
For
if I'm
right
pulling.
now,
I
it's
might I might be pulling on the cord inadvertently without knowing.
okay, because right now you're clear.
Okay. Yeah, it's the cord. It's the cord, and this thing's a little loosened around my head. So anyway, what you were
Well,
saying is
what
that.
we were hearing was the papers being shuffled in your head.
Yeah, before I shuffled the papers in my head, so I could talk about it or
Mm,
whatever, access information, whatever.
there you go.
But yeah, the best advice that I can give to the people is that, and that's for people who very try to be attuned and spiritual or intellectual, whatever, or combination of both, which is what we should have anyway. But just let it rip,
Hmm.
okay? Just what you were just what you were saying, just let it just flow its natural thing. Do not think about ascension. Do not think about any kind of dates. Do not think about that you have to do something.
Take
What you,
karma completely out of the whole notion, because if you're
yeah,
not being yourself, then you're not here being.
exactly. Well, you see, the thing is that first of all, I mean, we know this inherently, okay, without even going to Sunday school or anything like this.
Right.
That it is good to be a good human being. You know what I'm saying?
It's fun,
A per,
too.
yeah, a person who's jealous and greedy and violent and all the bad low chakra stuff.
Right.
Obviously, you don't want to have that. But the other thing that's the most important thing, it's actually the number one principle of existence. It's what God says. Says number one, expand your consciousness. The very reason, the very purpose, the very essence of our being is to expand our consciousness.
Hmm.
And now, I'm not saying knowledge, or I'm not saying this or this. Consciousness is a very, very extremely expansive phenomenon and subject, okay? So basically, you know what? Enlighten yourself. If you feel like you want to learn about chakras, go and learn about chakras. If
Or
you,
crystals or anything.
yeah, whatever. I mean, it's important to basically, I mean, it's better as far as your time is concerned. And again, time on this limited third dimension on this earth I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Because you have endless time.
Well, no, I was thinking that you should do something under unconditional love that brings joy to you. There
Absolutely.
is no straight, set, one way.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. You know, you're so good, Mona, today. I could just give you a big hug today, you know. But anyway,
It's the
no,
new
really,
moon coming up, baby.
you are right on it, dear. I tell you. The thing is that you see what comes in natural to you. Okay, live with your higher self, your intuitive
Hmm.
self, and you can never make mistakes.
Right.
It is
Agree.
the most. It would be the most optimized if you could totally get attuned with your higher self, with your soul in charge, the parent soul. If you can get in touch with that and attune with that, you virtually make no mistakes in terms of optimization or what you get out of your life.
Or clarification, because a lot of people want to get to an end, and there's never an end. It's a never
No, there's no
evolving thing, you know?
exactly getting to an see having deadlines, thinking about time, having deadlines, and wanting an end and all this. Listen, spirituality, even life itself, is a journey. It's not a
Hmm.
destination. It's not a destination. So you don't go in there and say, "Oh, when will I be a spiritual master? Or when will I ascend? Or when will I go to fifth dimension? Or when will I get a crystalline light body or whatever?" It doesn't matter. All you
Right.
got is time. All you got is time. The
Well, I
most,
think all we have is essence, because the whole situation is if I feel good, then things around me feel better. Kind of thing.
yeah, but you see, the point is that some people get so upset with themselves because they look at themselves from a very limited perspective of being on this particular time space
But that's
continuum.
usually programmed by the parents,
Oh, yeah,
the
of course.
schools, the religions, the things that are doctrines that don't mean anything, but somebody got to write it down and print it.
Exactly. So that is the more reason to not confine yourself in such a little box. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Right. Well,
But
that's what quantum mechanics is not limiting yourself because it's fractaled. It's in many pieces, even though it's all a one. It's like our group consciousness. We
mhm,
can change it. We're changing it just by being in play, not in battle. And it means more than what people would even recognize.
right. And actually, I just wrote a paper again in advanced mechanics of consciousness, more advanced
Hmm.
than I've said before. But and it is one of the things, the fundamental thing that you have to think about consciousness. It's on the quantum scale. You are not, and also it's discrete. It's not. So you were talking about quantum, fractal, quantum, whatever. This is exactly where it is because your consciousness is discrete. It comes and goes, and meanwhile you jump into different dimensions and you come back again. It's like going around the wheel. And it is at the quantum state. So you have to think about that. What you have in here is that you live in a holographic kind of continuum, or which is a time-space continuum, basically. This time and space continuum on this planet, on this particular omni planet, because we don't even have one Earth. We've got multiple Earths. You know what I'm saying? So to just put all your eggs in one basket and think about, money and interest and financials and position and materialism and consumerism, and then all the garbage that comes with it, competition, jealousy, you know what I'm saying, separation, anxiety of, the survivalism, all this kind of stuff. It, if you just say, hey, look, I'm moving infinitely in this cosmos. That is by essence my definition of my being, because God released me as a unit of consciousness, and I'm going there and I'm trying to flourish just like a flower. You know what I'm saying? Budding and flourishing, and get better and better, and just live with that. Now, once you feel that way, the enlightenment is going to give you a lot of pleasure. What you were talking about, you just enjoy it. You don't put any kind of deadlines on yourself. You don't put any kind of expectations on yourself. And if you connect with that soul, with your intuitive higher self, you will see that everything is good, one after another.
There are many miracles and blessings, especially if you know you only have control of yourself, not of those conditions. And we shouldn't judge it, because the divine right order, the third dimensional reality that brings us the things that we ask for, people don't always realize what they're asking for, that we will experience for that growth. And if we feel like victims, we're making ourselves victims. It's all just a give and take, cause and effect kind of life. And when you don't take it too personally, it does become much more joy. And we'll be right back after these promos. Thanks, Mohsen. We'll be right back, huh? Welcome back to freedomslips.com Revolution Radio. Wow. We need to help keep Studio B and Adventures of a Feral Hippie going. So please don't hesitate. Do what you can. Do some donation button pushing, however you can. I still want to go to a market just advertise, so I need a whole get up a Revolution Radio. And the homepage has so many things, and I would love to know what a 5-day-a-week show on the DVD would be. Get that information, because every show here is also available on archives. $5 a month is pretty darn reasonable, if you ask me. And hey, I'm all for it. Let's start really working together here and making a better tomorrow, because today does count. And so does each one of you. Hello, Mohsen.
Hello, dear.
Yeah, somebody on Skype just asked me to be a deer, and I'm like, you don't know me very well. Really, a lot of these scams, I want to be your friend, and then they come out and promote themselves as military. They don't know who they're speaking with. And then, oh yes, I'm on a peacekeeping mission in Afghanistan. I'm like, don't even let me go there with the words I just ran through my mind. Unless you're a whistleblower to tell me what's going on, I don't want to talk to you people, because I know you're a scam. What do you mean? No, never mind. Bye. I mean, it's just like people fall for it. I don't fall for much, because I like to walk lightly.
Yeah, it's a shame, because people should really, in these days and age, this day and age that we're talking about.
Oh, but in my comprehension, I apologize, but I don't. Is on the consciousness is to beware and be aware. And it's that simple, because as long as you're alert with common sense, try to find some critical thinking. I mean, that's why I used to watch MacGyver and all those programs of how we can get out of this one, you know, because just in case, you know, I mean, at least that's how I felt about life, is how would you think? And that's what we're here to do. That's part of the consciousness, is think, but hopefully more in a productive way than a derogatory way. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right. It'll come back to you. It's just that I had to say that.
Yeah. No, what I was going to actually say, I remember. Now, what I was going to say is that in this day and age, the best thing that people can do is, apart from, you know, as we said, not, you know, just anxiety, fear, and worrying about, you know, one is fear of survival and all this stuff. Forget that. Everybody knows by now that that doesn't work. The second thing is anxiety of even about yourself, whether you're doing well or this or that. And that is not even, you know, it's not kosher. You know, but one other thing that's very, very important is that everybody tries to see what will create a unity consciousness on this planet.
Well, it's by not taking so much personally.
Well, that, you know, that is that there's a lot to that, okay? But, you know, if you set that as kind of a goal, then you are healing this planet, okay? Then the separatism is going to go away. And, you know, a lot of low chakra traits are going to go away. And, you know, and if anything that is to be done, it is a lot easier to do it, you know, to be in a collective rather than trying to do it separately on your own, you know, isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I think one of the things that people who are trying, you know, hard in the spirituality and stuff like this, is just, you know, sure, you have to concentrate on yourself. Sure, you have to do it because you have to expand your consciousness. But just right after that, it's just that expanded consciousness just works a lot better when it's a collective consciousness in terms of quality of life and all that stuff. So, you know, just see what works, you know, what will get you there. I mean, of course, we can talk about unconditional love and compassion.
Well, you know what I was thinking that you kind of tried to say is that we shouldn't really also compare ourselves with other things or other people or have-tos or shouldas or can'ts, you know, kind of thing. And yeah, because otherwise, hey, it's hard to keep up with an image that's false, and that creates a lot of disharmony.
Exactly. When you get rid of that sense of competition, you know what I'm saying?
You go.
I mean, take a look at, for example, people who are so self-absorbed with their looks, with what they wear, and how they, you know, portray themselves.
Does it match? Do I look fat in this dress?
Exactly. Or you know, all this stuff. What will they say? Oh my God, I gotta go to this. Oh my God, what are they gonna say about me? In any way, any fashion that you start thinking about other people and worry that what they think about you or how you will measure up or how you will look and stuff like this, it's totally taboo. It's a complete waste because you have to, you know, I come from a country, you know, that originally I'm from Persia, Iran, okay? One of the most beautiful things that it is in this culture is actually called Khodemani, okay? Which basically what the word means is that it means a common sense. In other words, being so much down to earth, you know, being so much at the basics and do not put any veil between you and others. You know what I'm saying? Try to understand them, accept them, make allowances and all this stuff. Just
right
the
from
way
the
it
now.
is.
Right. Do not
For
believe their behavior is also where they can't improve.
Yeah, and so what Khodomani basically means is that you come in. Let me make an example for you. You go to somebody's house and say hi, how are you, and stuff like this. You go in there, and if they're in the kitchen, you know what I'm saying. I mean, with proper attitude, you know what I'm saying. But if you have to take a glass of water, you ask them, you go and take that. You feel comfortable at home with them. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you're there, I'm here. Where are you? A lot of sensitive things that actually in the Western society that talks about privacy and things like this, they're overrated. Now, I don't mean that you shouldn't have privacy, but it's overrated. If you can
Right.
just, if you can just have a common sense of understanding and feeling about things, you will come to a collective consciousness a lot faster.
Well, it's also because we're all so much more alike. We all eat, we all, do the other, remove waste, and we all breathe, and,
We're the same. There's no
right,
question about it. We're the same, and
equal.
we are in the same sort of body. We're the same species and all this kind of stuff. And we're more the same here than we probably actually higher there because we have a very limited consciousness in here that, the discrepancies, the variations, the ambiguity is a lot less. Now, if you become your totality, then your higher consciousness may be quite distant than the next person. So, in other words, what I'm saying is that in third dimension, there's more cause for solidarity, for the collective consciousness rather than that. Because you see, think about it. I mean, if you know, consciousness is infinite. How do you compare yourself with God? Whoa. You know what I'm saying? How do you compare yourself with some of the high divine being? Whoa. They've probably been around for
But
millions,
we are
billions.
them. We've just had a shadow of doubt and no and competition to think we're not worthy. We are all part of
Yeah,
that.
I understand that's a different issue. I want to, we can talk about that. But what I'm trying to get at is that, we are within a very small range spectrum variation of consciousness in 3D. We should be able to melt together a lot easier. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Now, when you're out of here, then it would be a challenge to reach that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's we all have it as units of consciousness of God. We have it, but it's a matter of bringing it to the surface.
Hmm.
It's a
Well,
matter,
that's the
and that's
back
all
to
it
the
is.
allowance thing
Yeah,
and have
it
no
is.
fear.
It is not the essence.
Mhm.
It is how you discern, yourself and how you discern consciousness. And in fact, it comes again. Now I can pick up on what you were saying. You said that. What was the last thing you said? Tell me that.
Yeah, right.
You don't remember.
Honey, when I'm on, I'm on. I'm always me, and I never
Yeah.
tried to. Um, it's just
Oh, you
the
have to be you.
unconditional
What else?
love.
What else is there to be? You have to be you. Who the heck cares about anything else? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think I've been me, since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that I didn't. The concept of, variety of different things didn't occur
Well,
to
I've
me.
had
You know.
many changes of different things just by, you're a Taurus male, I'm a Taurus female. We've had each different ways of being shown and taught that we thought were, but then we knew inside, no, it might need to be this way instead. And I know if you're like me, we're stubborn enough to make the best matter. Not all Tauruses do, but the ones that are here to help change the world.
Well, I mean, even with that, I have still, a little thing to say about that is that even if you are feeling that, because I used to feel that, and even up to very recently, I felt like I have a mission. I
Right.
have to do this. I have to,
Mm.
help people. I have to teach. See, you know what? If you forget about all those obligations, you actually can do it better.
Exactly, because the universe
You know?
provides the ways and the
Yeah.
means. How do we get in our own way but by not allowing?
It is all, Mona. It's a matter of divine energies and what we do with them,
Hmm?
right? They come in your aura. They get they get stored in your aura, and then you extract them through your chakras. They get accelerated and they get into basically your physical system.
Can you
And
just envision all these different energies and chords and variances that go on? I mean, it's amazing to visualize from the quantum cell point to the physical being and the aura and beyond. It's like, whoa, amazing. Life is so cool.
yeah, to actually discern or experience every frequency that's out there, that's the challenge of life. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but once you
So
become it, then the next step will become you if you allow it. I
yeah,
mean,
one step
it's
at a time. One it's kind of
on
sequential.
one
It's
twang of the string, babe.
Yeah, exactly. You can't play all the chords together. If you do that, it
Yeah,
won't be it won't be it won't be
that's
harmony. It will
right.
be chaos.
Mm.
So, but anyway, I think people should
Mm.
just I mean, feel you feel spiritual. That's wonderful. If you are moving away from money and materialism and all these sense of obligations and contractual feelings of what you should be or do or this or that is wonderful. Okay, so it is, if you that spirituality is what you want, but at the same time, if you go in there and obligate yourself about a spirituality,
But
you're
then that
again
means that
not
we're
doing.
judging ourselves, and that's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
fair
Yeah.
either
No, you
because
don't want to do that. No, that's what I'm
exactly.
saying. Yeah.
Hmm.
So you enjoy. It goes back to what you said before. You do it with enjoyment, and
Hmm.
you do it at a little at a time, and you do it as long as you perfect it, master it, have contentment, satisfaction with it, and joy. That's what God wants from you. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what's the big fuss in this three-dimensional plane here on Earth, that everybody is either worries. Well, we know where that comes from. That's been imposed on us. That's been induced on us. Because I think if you travel, this is my feeling. Okay, if you travel and go to variety of three-dimensional planes such as Earth, okay, I don't think you're going to find the sewer that you find on this planet. Okay? I think you're going to find more freedom of thought. I think you're going to find less fear, less obligation, less all this stuff. Because these things have been imposed upon us artificially. Even our genetics has been altered. So they surface. So actually, to be spiritual, to be effective, optimal, whatever on this planet may take, many-fold effort than you would have it on planet, X, Y, or Z, some other part of the galaxy or another universe, because they're just three-dimensional. They're lower consciousness. They're at the lower level of consciousness, but they don't have so much obstacles. You know what I'm saying? The problem with us is all these obstacles that we have to deal with.
Because we think that if we are going to describe things in one way, that's not how the universe works. Like my wealth. Well, my wealth is my health and the love I get unconditionally from those around me. It's not having all this money to have 2 cars and a big house and all the rest of this other stuff, even though if I could afford it, I'd probably do it. And then I'd take care of all kinds of other things, that I'd like to have. But we've got to quit assuming we know better.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
Mona, you said about money and all that. Let me tell you something. This is how I feel. Money is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
You think you own planet Earth or a little piece of it, 1 acre, 2 acre, 5 acre, whatever.
Not in
You
the
are.
least.
I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying general.
I know.
In general, it is crazy, silly to think that because nobody owns anything.
Right.
On 2 levels, okay. First of all, the way that this artificial dual, I call this now recently. I've come to this basically opinion that there are 2 types of dualities. You know what I'm saying? There is the natural duality, which basically, you go from third, you learn, you have the pros and cons, and you learn, and then go to fourth, fifth, whatever. And then the other one, which is here, which is a box that has been manipulated from outside. So basically, you have artificial duality. You know what I'm saying? So evil has been created for you beyond the norm, And you know why it is, because we don't want to get into all that stuff. It's because to feed on your energies,
Exactly, the vampires.
Exactly. So that's kind of So you don't own first of all, you don't own anything in the most abstract way because you can't own planet Earth. Right. That's the body of Mother Gaia, okay? And anything else on it, okay? And it is only a temporary use that you have. First of all, when you're gone, you can't take it with you, okay? And secondly, when you think you have it, you really have the use of it for a short time. And you can see how things come and go. You know what I'm saying? You could have millions of dollars 1 minute and then next.
Well, because we've learned to have attachments that don't have no validity, and that's where in the Bible I think it was stated that we should have no graven image above me. And I wanted to say something earlier. Just remembered that we have forgotten to give thanks, and that if we don't honor the footsteps and the way that we walk them, then how do we expect to be honored back?
Exactly. I mean, if we had to think that a chicken or a cattle, is giving its body, its physical body on this planet, on this dimension, to feed and nourish us, okay? If we learn to give thanks, and that thanks is not just once a year, Thanksgiving, but we think about that, we don't process chicken the way that it is processed. I couldn't eat. I mean, I don't eat meat anymore. But I could never eat chicken, knowing what that animal went through before its head was cut off. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So give some thanks. The minimum thing that you can do is just give thanks for the body of that animal that you are receiving, and give thanks to the animal. Give thanks to the animal. People don't. We feel very, very entitled. Oh, me, chicken. I say thank you to a chicken. That is arrogance.
No doubt.
If you're really spiritual, and if you really want to think about your divinity and all this stuff, you have to look at these things from ground principles. You know what I'm saying? Not something that you have, a doctrine or something that you've come up and formulated and now you memorize and believe it. That is your conditioning, That's how they conditioned you. By the way, I was going to say that on top of everything, again, everything is artificial on this planet. That's another problem.
The illusion, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to another planet. I can envision that. You can go in a distant galaxy or a distant universe, and you can go on a planet of three-dimensional, and duality might be in place, or would be actually in place, because you have to have polarity by definition. So, but if you go in there, you would see things. This concept of money, first of all, does not exist at all. Could not exist, because money is an artificial concept just for enslavement. There's no question about it. There's nothing good ever is going to come out of money.
It's monopoly.
Now, it's all that. It's a game, and you may think it's like and it's also it's in a overzealous game of. Gambling too, in a way. You know what I'm saying?
That's where the glutton comes in, because most early humans, and I'm just saying this, were grazers. We picked and chose the right at the moment. We didn't have to industrialize it to eat. It was all there provided for us. It still is today, between dandelions, violets, other things of those natures, berries on the trees, the herbs, We've all let go of our primal, and we really need to know what our primal is. It's not a disgrace or an outlaw. It's your beginning. Let's I had a business. Its name was Primitive Pots and Plants, because I did over 17 years of making my own pottery and making up cactus gardens and doing the herbs and stuff like that. Because I was too picky. I liked making my own pots to put my stuff in instead of going out and buying them, even though I did. But it is, it's rudimentary. Isn't that what you call the basics? Rudimentary?
Yeah, same word. Yeah, I think it is time, as we become more refined in our consciousness. We need to go back and look at the very same things that we initially, thought about, and we thought we understood it and mastered it and all this stuff. Go back to the same thing and look at it even from a higher perspective. One of the things that I can tell you, Mona, is duality. So at the beginning, when you start talking beyond religion and into spirituality and all this stuff, you start thinking about duality. I live on a planet of duality. This is a university of duality. That's kind of sort of thing.
Well, and it's been used against us, because the programming has been in a parasitical factor that we are to bow and be under something when I have no Lord above me. If I'm part of the total consciousness of the Christ and the God spark, then I'm as equal as everything else, and they need to be cautious about that.
Mona, I don't think you even realize it. But you are so much synchronous today with me that I cannot even believe it. Because you're,
I have no
you're saying the right words. You're saying the things that I'm trying to even explain further. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That is it. We have to go back and look at the basics. What is duality?
It's fear or love to begin with.
And how, no, I'm just talking about just duality right now, okay? Let's not just talk about love, because we can talk about that. But duality, think about it. If you go to a distant planet, is duality the same as it is on this planet? The answer is no. I'm convinced of it.
Right.
I think duality is part of the natural mechanism or mechanics of creation and all this stuff for learning, okay? And so we can call this a university of duality, but it is a very biased, very, very abused word, is the sense of the word. Because to me, for example, duality would be like this. You go into nature, okay? And you touch a tree because it's nice, you know what I'm saying? Or a flower or something. And a thorn gets into your fingers. Or you have something on the bark of a tree that, you know what I'm saying. That is the thing that teaches you.
Yes, we need to get back to appreciate our existence as we are only here in consciousness. We will be right back. No, hun, we're not cut off. I was mute and talking because I was on somebody's Facebook wall. I'm bad. Whoops. I was checking up to see what was going on because somebody. Oh, anyway. Yes, much is going on, Mohsen, and it's actually cool. I was on a site that says they now actually have, it's called Spirit Science and Metaphysics.com, that Harvard neurosurgeon confirms that the afterlife exists. Well, I think the in-life, the out-life, the before-life, the afterlife is all consciousness. What do you think?
Absolutely. The only thing that exists ever here in life, afterlife, and all that stuff is consciousness. Consciousness is eternal. Consciousness is the very essence of our prime creator.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness is our heritage. The only thing is that we're given this gift, but we don't know what to do with it. And the entire challenge of life is, number one, try to understand and expand your consciousness. And number two, help others who are basically, your brethren.
Yeah, but just being yourself takes care of that condition also, because the more we are just ourselves, like no hassles, no BS, then basically that's what happens around you, because you are what you create, or you think what you are, just like the food, you are what you eat kind of thing.
No, but you see, the best thing is you have to be what you are. You have to totally be very, very, very honest with yourself, but self-discovery is a journey.
Right.
Okay? It is not as if everybody knows exactly what they are. If they did, they would know their gods.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, and they would feel like gods, and they would act like gods, and they would do everything.
Well, it's because they've been taught what they think doesn't count, and people don't realize every time you say sorry, you're becoming sorryful. Every time you say you hate, you are hateful, and it'll come back to you. And people just don't recognize what the dialogue is. And I don't want to say that we have to judge if it's good or bad, right or wrong, but we should be aware of, what are we placating here? What are we creating by our thoughts? And you can't eliminate them by not feeding into them, like fear.
Well, we've said that over and over. You are in an isolated planet of duality. And the new way that I look at it is that it's an artificially infested duality. It is not duality the way it was meant to be. Yes, duality is polarity, is diversity, is opposite poles and all that stuff.
But everything has its equal and balanced opposite, no matter which way you're looking at it.
In a true sense of duality, yes, I agree with you, but not on the type of duality that has been imposed upon us. Because if you look at it, it is a lot more. You're not safe on this duality infested planet. You're not safe. It is not a normal place of nourishment and spiritual or nourishment. It is very, very biased. It's very biased towards the negativity, because, as I said, the worst instrument is money.
Okay, I have something to say though, real quick, about the service part. That you don't become enslaved by what people think you should do. It's a service, like opening a door for somebody. It's called cause and effect, because somebody up the road, it's the butterfly effect, will help you when you need it, no matter what it is. I mean, it's being gracious, it's being considerate and humble, that this is all a party if you are allowed to create it within your mind.
Right. If you fall into to games of just, which is actually in the United States doesn't really exist much, but if you go to Europe and some of the places, you'll see more of that. If you fall into the game of social, how can I tell you, etiquette or whatever,
Yeah, that's the right word.
you know, and if you get into that, then no, you're wasting your time.
Like
Okay?
get married in June kind of crap.
Yeah, all kinds of things, all kinds of things. Or here's a woman. I have to open the door for her. You know what I'm
Well, why
saying?
not?
And then no. If you no, listen to me. Listen. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying to open a door and then once she goes look at her ass.
Oh, well, but
You know what I'm
you're
saying?
human.
That's what's going on, though. But I mean, that look. The thing is that what I'm trying to say is
Yeah,
that
well, that's
I would be
chakra
the
thing.
yeah, I would be the first person. You know, in fact, you know, I don't want to brag or boast, but there are very few people like me left on the planet that I have. You see, we've had this conversation together. I say sorry to you. I say this. It is a politeful. It's a politeness. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but you
And
don't deserve the sorrow, sweetie.
no. When you say I'm sorry, see, words don't mean anything.
All words have a lot of meaning.
No,
We're
words.
going to discuss that on the harmonics of the words. Yeah, they do.
Okay,
They create, they manifest existence because we're all programming.
They can. I agree with you. Very strong. They can. But words without intent, they don't mean anything. You can say the very same word, exactly the same word, and means two exactly oppositely polar meanings. It
Well,
depends.
then that's the affirmation for the spells. I mean, once you do it, it becomes. So how can you say there's no validity behind it? It doesn't make sense because it's been adulterated so we don't get the right harmonics to create the blessings.
You know, as a retired professor, as a person who's written extensive number of papers and this and that, I've always strived to really learn the language in such a way that I can communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the primary source of communication on this planet, you know, in 3D basically, you know. And hopefully we'll be out of that. Once we're out of that, we'll get into telepathy and everything is pictorial. So the point is that if the person opens their mind and lets you in, you can totally see what they mean, how they feel. There's no need for words. There's no need for vernacular or anything. Okay,
Right.
it is just there. So, however, on this planet, and I'm going to tell you this, and I've come across, and I'm sure you have many, many times in the past, that there are you're subject to misunderstanding or this or that because the other person interprets the word in a different way than it is intended. Now, a lot of times, if you're face to face and look at each other and you're within each other's auric field, it is kind of harder to make a mistake because somebody can say, thank you, thank you, and meaning with love and with appreciation. Or you say, well, thanks. Well, thanks. It's both the same thing. Well, thank you. Well, thank you.
Sounds like an inner spoiled ego child to me. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Exactly. So the words, basic words, composed of letters and all this stuff, they don't mean anything. It's the intent behind it.
Well,
that means something. Now,
people being so loose with their intent is going to be harming themselves, okay?
Well,
I mean, because otherwise I could have gone and... Okay, I'll give you an example. I've been a street urchin for a lot of years. And when I had to play to think to be the role that I played, I would use a lot of swearing. A lot of, hand gestures, things like that. But I kept wondering why I was getting injured because when I recognized you're doing the GD bit, I kept harming myself. And that's when I started to investigate words. And in the Native American language, there is no word for sorry. Because we are here knowing that I might bump into you to send you some warm fuzzies and you not know it, but you want somebody to be sorry for it? No, I will not give my energy away to something that is lessening of the beauty of what we're here to be. That's
Yeah.
why I do not
No,
placate
what
that word.
I understand. I understand what you're trying to say. You have some very, very strong opinions about
Yeah,
certain
sure
things.
shit.
Yeah, but
Just like the
the one-
lady in red.
yeah, but the thing is that words, I think, just by themselves, they don't mean anything. And I'm going to
Oh,
tell you something. I
okay.
when I was in England, when I was a student, years ago at the college, and I used to say Jesus, 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 and you know what? Or I would say, "Oh God, God," and I probably do it sometimes still. You
Well,
know what I'm
that's a
saying?
different thing because when
No,
you
no, no. But
call the
wait a
name,
second. No, wait a second. It's the same word. It's the same word, and it's just interpreted different way. When I usually say "Oh God" or something like this, it is kind of like resorting to God.
well, throwing your
You know,
hands up in the air, yeah.
yeah, and that sort of thing, not blasphemy.
Right.
And I recall so many times in England, and this was just like I had just come from Iran. You know what I'm saying? It was like I'd only been there like 2, 3 years or whatever. But I had, and we would say that in Persian. Ey Khuda, Ey Khuda, or whatever. I mean, a lot of times I say that when I get up, I say Ey Khuda. It's not blasphemy. It is not anything.
Exactly. No, you're
But
just
people take it.
associating.
Oh, but people take it like this. And I had so many people. I remember my roommates and, these British people, and they say, and some of them were religious or some, and they would say to me, oh, Jesus, and they would react on it knowing that I'm not Christian and I come from a non-Christian thing. They would
Well,
react
Jesus ain't
1,000 times.
Christian either, brother.
Oh, I know. I know. We know now, but I'm talking then. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
And
do.
within the context, that context of that, because they consider themselves Christian, and that's
Oh, yeah, well.
which is results stupid. Don't tell me that, Mona, because I went through hell and back with that. My wife was a
But you weren't saying anything derogatory in my mind.
no,
You
no.
weren't programming yourself. There was something natural coming through that you just were experiencing. What oh, well, see, we've all had discretion against us because people don't feel secure in themselves that they can't let others try to be secure in themselves. It's just horrifying.
No. Anyway, I think the most important thing, as it is with consciousness, as it is with spirituality, as it is with everything, is the most important thing is intent.
Right.
And without intent, you really cannot accomplish anything, either bad or good. Intent is I think in one program we did talk about belief and intent and all that stuff, but intent is basically the driving factor. Is intent is the is
Seed.
consumer of the energy that turns into thought
It's the seed.
and believe. Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing that use the energy. It's the intent that uses the energy, either in a good fashion, leading to creativity and benevolence and harmony and everything that comes with that, comfort, whatever, or the opposite, which it could lead to conflict and uh, all that stuff, disorder and all that stuff. So anyway, but I think language. I mean, as a person that I've been, told as a master of a language, English. I was told this when I was 18, 19 years old because I studied English very well.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to England, I studied, not that I would, boast about it, but what is called Queen's English or King's English. You know what I'm saying? I even spoke with a same accent and stuff, which I lost it because I thought this pomposity doesn't go with me. It's not me. It's not me. I'm the person who has a touch of foreign accent. That's what I am. and they're speaking with perfect Queen's or King's English that they can't even distinguish on on the phone who you are. That's not you. That's acting. And
Right.
some actors are doing that. There's some
Civil
American.
War, I mean, not Civil War, Renaissance. Yes, I used to hang out with dragon slayers at the Renaissance. Yeah. The thee, the thous, oh my gosh, that's a heck of a thing. And they don't get us here in America either, because our English is not true English.
No, I mean, but it goes with the kind of local beliefs and the folklore and all this kind of stuff. Like for example, you get the down south. How do they speak? I mean, there are all kinds of different dialects of it and all that stuff. But anyway, generally speaking, language is a tool, okay, that hopefully should be used in a very, very good fashion because it's also been used as a tool for evil.
Right.
I mean, look at Hitler. How many people came to being who could persuade people with words more than him? And in fact, I want to tell you something. Unfortunately speaking, language is something that if somebody sets their mind in evil, it can drive people a lot faster than the benevolent,
But why
good
sell your
kind and all
soul
that
to why sell your soul to something that's part of the illusion? It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well,
I didn't hear that. I didn't understand that.
if we're living in an illusion and everything that we think is become into material, why would you want to dwell into a thing that's going to deny you your cosmic rights? That's what gets me is there's too much of that Kool-Aid that got drank and that people just don't feel worth that they can do this. And it doesn't have to be affirmations every day, like the words and stuff, because I don't go there. And just got to find your inner hum and smile so we can get through this, because there's a lot of things. But I do know that I have been very cautiously not programming my being to be harmed in any way and to harm nobody else and to give thanks for whatever it is.
And that's the best way. It's just you have to follow your good instincts if you get attuned with your higher self, because your higher self is higher than yourself.
Well,
Okay?
I pull myself
And
without from within because
exactly. That's what it is, yes. And it's through the intuitive, kind of effort, and it shouldn't really be effort. You should just have to allow. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something.
Well, find your joy.
Yeah, but during the past few days, I've gone through another revelation. I think I just learn and learn and learn exponentially from all kinds of things. Because I write a lot, you know what I'm saying, and I try to. So you basically you ask questions, you find answers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I
and
do.
that's what it is. You're attuned and from your higher self. You let the higher self in, and you are your higher self. So you learn more and more and more, and become more conscious of what you are, and and all this stuff, the divinity or whatever. But I'll tell you something, Mona. For example, and instead of sitting and saying, "I've got to finish this thing on third chakra," okay, which I always did that. I finished something.
You demanded and stressed yourself into the condition you're now trying to remedy.
And now I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wrote 6 pages on that, 8 pages in there, and then did this, and then something else too. Because you know what? Before I know it, the 6th page becomes 12, 14. It gets published. It's done, out of the way. The 8th page gets... But it's all natural. It's all...
Flow. It's flow.
It's the natural flow from my higher self, divine self, and I can believe what I'm saying.
Well, why not?
No. But I'm just saying, when you come in, with new ideologies and and all this stuff. I mean, you start saying this is
But do
this,
you
that is
really
that.
think it's new, or do you just think it's
No,
the
no, no.
better
Just
awakening to the point of what is the conditions?
no, nothing is ever
You
new.
just fall off your chair?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, no, no. It just got loose again. Uh, this thing is goes around my
It's
head
so
is sometimes.
sensitive. It's so
It's,
funny. And we do have
it
high
is. It
definition
is. It is.
radio here now. So, and people don't forget, we're listener sponsored, and everybody here, like my guests and all, we volunteer for this. And we
Yes.
hope you enjoy your unprogramming.
And we want it to continue. I mean,
For
personally, I
sure.
think if the media is not there, these things are not going to
I
make it.
don't play by anybody's rules, but the moment that I think of it, it gets done and go on. I probably even forgot that I did that. Because I'm
Hmm.
always going forward, it's better that way. Tiptoe through the tulips. Anyway.
That is absolutely wonderful. So go out there in the goose or ducks, and you
Well, I
have
had this most
and
beautiful
it's
moth.
beautiful. Go
Well,
out
wait a
there,
minute. You
enjoy
got to
that.
hear this, Mohsen. Last break, I went out and I had to take my cigarette pack with me because I forgot to roll a cigarette. And this beautiful moth has been flying around on the back porch. And I said, "Oh, but don't land on me. I have to go in the house." And it landed on my cigarette pack in my hand. So if we're not connected totally as a living existence, then I'm illusional. Love y'all. Thanks, Mohsen. Mwah.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Okay, bye bye.
Bye, guys.